All right. How's everyone doing? Yeah. Sorry about the start of that stream. That was I have some I need to get my satellite on my roof. That's I need to get it up there. Although I need to make sure that it's there in such a way that storms don't remove it. We were without power for over 12 hours on Thursday. Now, we had power because we have solar and batteries, so like we were chugging, but we were not with main power because of some storms. And I was thinking, like, I'm always thinking, like, I need to put it up there. And I was like, man, is it going to survive that? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, at least it's not winter and buried under snow. Yeah, I mean, there's positives to both. I mean, winter, if that had happened, we probably wouldn't have made enough electricity. One of the big things is that when you have a big snow in the middle of winter like that, and if it knocks out power, the snow also covers the solar panels. So even if it's sunny the day after, now if it's only a little snow, like a very little bit, the solar panels will get hot and melt it off. But if you get like a good layer on them, you have to go sweep those things off before they start making any amount of electricity. So either you need really big batteries, or what I currently have is a generator. But I do want to build. I want to build my own battery, so I do want to do that. I want to put it in the barn. So I want to build my own battery out there. One of the things is I have to keep it from getting really cold, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. They like cold, just not extremely cold. We don't get extremely cold. We'll get every once in a while we'll get in the negatives for a little bit. Negative Fahrenheit. We're always getting in negative Celsius. Always. Did everybody have a good week? Hopefully everybody had a good week. Hopefully yeah, hopefully you all had a fantastic week. Good so far? Excellent. Let's end the week with a bang. Let's make it good. Ooh, got a new PC and monitor. What did you get? What are the specs? did you get any RAM with that? You get any RAM? That's what we're. What are you doing with your old RAM? Is what everybody's asking right now. That's what we're wondering. You got any leftover RAM? 64 gigs? Nice. DDR5? I'm assuming. Can you get 4 now? I feel like 5 has been out long enough that, like, you probably can, like, if you're, like, high-speed gaming would be my guess, is that 4 might still dominate if you're, like, looking for, like, the lowest. That's just a guess, though. Oh, you went with the AMD GPU. Nice. How are you liking it so far? You know what I found, at least for me, there's always like a game which like breaks the next level of graphics, which is really cool, and I like seeing it and like things like that. But for me, graphics got to such a good point that like no longer do you feel like putting it all the way, like, like, I can run it acceptably with, my 4070. Like, does it run everything the best? No, obviously you could get better, but like it runs everything fine. With enough detail. Actually, I found like some games like 2077, like if you jack up the ray tracing and stuff like that, I actually found the game harder to play because there was like it was harder to see stuff because there was like so many reflections and so much stuff going on, and I actually found like with it tampered down was a more enjoyable game for me to play, just from like a target acquisition. Like walking through it, sure, it was stunning the other way, but actually playing the game and trying to shoot, it was not fun. All right, well, let's get into the news and then we can talk about our favorite lack of memory. Oh, I want to buy memory so badly. Oh, that's what I need. Anyways, let's get into the news. So we have some news topics to go over. Hopefully, some of these are good. Hopefully, some of these you're staying up with. If you remember last week, I talked to you all about the attack on Arch Linux and how their package repository, the AUR or Arch User Repository, or as I like to call it, the AUR. You got to kind of say it like that. It's kind of like a wounded seal. Um, has been under attack, and I am still not updating my machine to this date. I have not seen an all clear. I have not seen things that give me warm fuzzy feelings on the inside. And I'm going to step through what I have seen. Now, I'm not heavily embedded in the Arch user repository, and so like this is from an outside perspective. But last I've seen, we still have active our malicious package incident that's happening. There is no real update here on this website, but I did find in the Arch Linux mailing list a couple disconcerting threads that are still active. So you can see this is June 11th and June 13th. We're working hard to reset all malicious commits and ban the accounts. If you find more malicious packages, please send them to this email so you can look through here. There's been more that's added. That was added on to this one. There's a new wave detected by using the Gemma E2B model. Basically, these are going into the temp directory, running some I think it's JavaScript. I'm pretty sure it's JavaScript. Sorry for not beeping that out. I tried to keep this PG-13. Pretty sure that's what it is because I like to blame everything on it. But it goes to your temp directory, has a lot of obfuscated code in the post install, and that is what it's doing. Yeah. So at this point, like I said, June 14th, I am not installing anything on. I know we're on we're on what? It's the 20th today? I think it's the 20th today. I'm not entirely sure, but like we're moving on, but I haven't seen the all clear, and so like there is still stuff going on. There's replies happening to this, so I'm waiting for that all clear, and I will let you guys know as soon as I will probably post something in the Discord if you're wondering, but I will also be keeping an eye for it. I haven't seen it just yet. Does anybody else? I know if in the community, I know that we do have a few other people in the community, specifically the Gray Hatter. So if you see the Gray Hatter or want to talk to him in the community, you can. I know that he was working on this last weekend. So again, I'm talking from an outsider's perspective. Still haven't updated Arch, which I know is painful. Like now when I do go to update, it's going to be hours of updating. All right. On that note, we have some other security things. Now, as it was brought up, I didn't actually have the heart to I didn't have the heart to bring this. There is the 40 bleed breach going on right now. 80,000 corporate firewalls were quietly compromised. Fortinet seems to have it rough. I'm not sure whether it's their security engineering practices or if it's the fact that they are the front wall for everything. I usually defend those appliances as being the front wall to the internet, and but my community, I made that defense last week, and my community went out of their way to prove that maybe they're just bad at security. If you're using Fortinet, they're currently under a very massive breach. All right, moving on in security. If you're leveraging JetBrains right now, there has been a couple JetBrains IDE plugins that have been stealing API keys. Specifically, the ones that were found were the DeepSeek and other large language models. So it appears that they're trying to steal API credit usage. Now, I haven't actually heard somebody losing a ton of money through API usage, but I would recommend that if you're one of these people and leveraging these APIs and actually have API keys, not like you're using Claude Code, you don't really get an API key usage for that. Be careful, because you probably want to have some spending limit on it just in case something like this happens. Now, I'm not deep into the JetBrains marketplace. I have warned about this type of thing also on the VS Code. Any of these marketplaces, you are downloading code that can be supply chained. And if you asked me, 2026 and 2025 were the year of the supply chain. Literally, I haven't seen anything but supply chain hacks taking down these companies. I've seen some stuff, but like that's been the main thing. Our supply chain is super vulnerable. It's been vulnerable. SolarWinds told us it was amazingly vulnerable, and we really haven't made it that much better. I'm really interested in watching what some of these projects do, especially like Arch Linux when we're talking about supply chain, as they try to remain open and free for people to contribute to. And I'm gonna be looking for what they come up with. I know that we've talked previously in the past about things like a community score and whatnot, and like a network of trust. And I know there's some pros. There's also some cons to those. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what people come up with along this, because I think that my mind always goes back to trust but verify. Like, even if you do a network of trust and all of that, and it's all good, part of me thinks like we need a better way of verifying that these things aren't malicious somehow. Anyhow, let's move on. We still have one more thing in security, because we love security so much. And because I needed to ensure that GitHub got dragged. You know, my two favorite companies to drag through the mud is Fortinet and GitHub. Oh boy. What happened to reviewing all the commits by maintainers? That problem should have never existed. Oh, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the JetBrains? I don't know their policies on their plugin marketplace. The problem is the problem is, and what you saw with like the problem you have, and we saw this with the Shy Haluds, we saw this with all the others, is there is such a network of packages being leveraged. There is such a network of packages being leveraged that when one of them falls, so when your padlefts of the world falls, like so many things else fall after that. And the problem is you don't have all those security things on all of those. So all you have to do is infect one little itty bitty project. Now, a lot of these have actually infected larger projects through, well, some of them has been because of issues on GitHub side where you can actually spoof commits, but we won't talk about exactly how that we're not going to get into exactly on some of those, but the problem is you get hacked by the other people getting hacked, right? So the supply chain is massive. I think that's what people don't realize is the supply chain is massive. And we don't even, like, one thing that people will maybe talk about is they'll talk about, like, they have their project here. So this is like their project. And then they'll talk about the things that they depend on. And for case of this, we're just going to say that they depend on these two things out here, right? They depend on these two things. They don't depend on anything else. But the problem here is that each one of these depends on a bunch of things itself. And usually hundreds of things. And each one of those things depends on, I mean, you get the point. I can draw more arrows, but this looks like, if you actually look at your dependency graph, it looks more like a neural network than it does a dependency graph. I mean, if you've looked at any NPM node package, it looks more like a neural network of dependencies than it does a dependency graph. And this is what you get. There is just a massive number of dependencies in any one project. You might not be depending on it, but sure is a lot of other things depending on it. And this is why the supply chain is so difficult. It's such a big issue. Literally big. Anyways, if you're using JetBrains, I suggest going and reading this. Like I said, I'm not big into the JetBrains. I'm not going to give you advice on what to do here. I just saw that it was happening, and it was validated by an independent researcher. I believe this was validated by... Who was this validated by? I forget. But yeah, it's targeting your IDE. Again, have fun with that. There was the large-scale malware distribution campaign on GitHub. This was like a really... You know, I recommend you go read it. I recommend you go read it. It's interesting. But one of the things that I thought was interesting about this was how it was caught. How he went into this entire investigation was based off of Bing. Was literally based off of Bing. I mean, who woke up this morning and thought, my goodness, a 10,000 repository GitHub Trojan malware campaign is going to be caught by Bing. Like, let that sink in. Let that sink in. I have a project on GitHub, and I want to check whether search engines had indexed it. I typed the project name into Google, and my repository appeared in the results. I entered the same query into Bing, and someone else's repository appeared in the results with the exact same name and description. It was a copy of my repository with all the commits, and I was listed as a contributor. But an hour ago, another commit was pushed with a change to the README. A link to a zip archive had been added to it. Bing is the whole reason this was discovered. Thank you, Bing, for being a place where people go to sell their advertisements for their corrupt repository. Oh my goodness. So this is the problem with advertisement at this point. It's a piece of the supply chain. Literally, when you think about it, adverts, when you Google, are part of the supply chain because you can click on those links and get fooled. And that's what's happening here. I don't know. He doesn't actually state whether this was an advertisement, but I do know campaigns like this have happened on Google. So it's not just Bing that's susceptible to this, because they're automated ways of validating whether it's a true or a proper URL when you're looking at an advertisement is really difficult, especially when it goes to a trusted domain like GitHub. So this is a big problem, and it's another reason why the FBI has recommended you just disable ads on your computers if you want to keep them safe. It's a sad world we live in. We did cover the new changes to reCAPTCHA. We covered that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the reCAPTCHA issues with. If people don't know, Google made changes to reCAPTCHA where it doesn't work on Android projects. So if you don't use a Google device that has the Google-based libraries, I forget what the library is called. They have one that's like the Google Play Services. I think that's what it is. That might actually be its name, Google Play Services. If you don't have Google Play Services, which it only puts, it's a proprietary binary, and it only puts it on phones that are sold from its manufacturers, you can't pass reCAPTCHAs on an Android device. That's terrible. Oh, it has hand gesture too? This is probably what caused it. This is just stupid. This is kind of hilarious. You know what I find funny about this is literally like the epitome of creating a feature that nobody wanted. Like, what PM came up with this? Like, who does this benefit? I find this hilarious because this happens to so many tech companies where they almost try to solve a technical challenge because it's a technical challenge. I said this about blockchain. There's actually some really cool tech in blockchain, and there actually are some really good uses. Git is one of those good uses of blockchain. So I actually really like blockchain technology, but 3/4 of the legitimate blockchain, not the scammy ones, are almost solving a technical challenge to prove that they can solve the technical challenge. Like, the actual use to humankind isn't there. Like, I don't know. I just fail to understand how this was helping somebody. But this is probably what caused the Android thing, because they're probably using some module out of the Google Play module. So I can't tell you for sure. I don't have any insider information. All I can tell you is that if you have an Android phone without the Google Play services, you can't actually pass reCAPTCHA anymore. It doesn't matter whether it's a hand gesture one or not. It is literally impossible for you to pass reCAPTCHA if you don't have Google Play services. I don't even know what got us on this rant, but that is There's the facts. You've got them. I say facts very loosely. When I say facts, I mean like really strong recommendations. Like, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about, but don't actually. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about something I know a little bit more about. I'm actually really excited about this Kubernetes release. For a long time, for many years, not many years, for many releases, the cadence of Kubernetes was a little boring to me, and they didn't release a whole lot of things that I found deeply interesting. Today, that kind of changed. So I wanted to talk about some of my favorite Kubernetes. I got derailed by reading the I thought, did I not have the release notes? I thought I was going to go into the release notes. Anyways. Well, I guess I didn't hit the release notes. Shoot. Where'd my release notes go? One second. Let me go find the release notes. This is what I was expecting. Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, sorry, I got derailed by my own inability. I have been, I've done a lot with Kubernetes, as many of you know. Anyways, I have been it's been a little stale to me. It's not bad. It's actually been a good thing because it means that the product is premature and it has added the things that it is, and it's just really doing a bunch of stabilization things, which has, in a whole, been really awesome. That being said, though, this release, there's some things we should talk about that I found really interesting. Now, if you look through the changelog, I'm going to give you guys the link to the changelog. There's a lot of things, and you can slice and dice this many ways. I actually do find this hard to follow. I actually generally like to look through the Kubernetes release dashboard. That's a much easier way of doing it, but I thought I would follow through with you guys on the changelog because they do it a nice way. So you have the API changes, and then you also can come down here and find features that they released and things like that. So this is the basic taxonomy of a changelog in Kubernetes. Now, in these, I found a couple that I think are very exciting for most people. The first one is the node declared features. This is one that when you guys have seen me work on Project Eddington or what I would consider a Kubernetes competitor. Can you guys hear those dogs? Ayla, be quiet. Okay. Sorry about that. So anyhow, the node declared features is one of the big ones that I was putting or baking into the idea of my own workload scheduler. My workload scheduler wanted the nodes themselves to declare the features that they had. A long time ago, in a Kubernetes not so long ago, I said 135, didn't I? Instead of 136. Oh well. Kubernetes versions. Who cares? In some features not so long ago, this wasn't the case, and you had to use tags or some other things to try to coerce a scheduler into understanding what hardware, what features a node had. And this feature here actually helps with this right now. So the kubelet feature reporting at startup, a kubelet. So the kubelet is the thing that runs on each node. On each node detects which managed Kubernetes feature are currently enabled and reports that in the status.declared features field of the node. Only features under active development are included in this field. So this basically gives a kubelet a way to report features that it supports, and that's an amazing feature. It allows you to report things, new things, and things like that. Scheduler and filtering. The default kube scheduler uses the node declared feature plugin. This plugin in the pre-filter stage checks the pod spec and to filter to infer the set of node features required by the pod. So basically, it's taking the features that the pod asks for and inferring a set of nodes that support those features. If the checks features in the nodes satisfy the required inferred for the pod will not be scheduled on nodes lacking the required features. Pretty self-explanatory. And then the emission controller can reject pods that require features not declared in the nodes they are bound to, preventing issues during pod updates. So this is pretty cool. It's a feature that I've said has been lacking in Kubernetes for a long time, and I'm really happy to see it be in there. So anyways, I haven't used it yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. You should definitely give it a try if you're using. Think about things like GPUs, about disks. Like, do you have SSDs? Do you have fast SSDs? Do you have another one? You can have like hardware accelerated stuff. So like you can have hardware accelerated TLS. You could have FPGAs. You could have a bunch of different things with different features that are attached to different machines. You could have extra network. Again, the features go on and on. So, if you have like network appliances that should only be on big machines with a ton of network bandwidth, again, that's what you need to go to. So this is really cool. I'm very excited that they are releasing this. One of the most exciting features that has been released. All right. Gang scheduling. Yeah, sorry. I'm skipping around. I haven't really covered these, and so I just wanted to cover some of the things that have come out recently that I'm excited about. That's all. I said 135. I don't know why. I think I saw 135, and I just was like, okay, 135, and I was just moving on. Gang scheduling is interesting. It's a all or nothing scheduling. And if you haven't used it, it's probably really useful if you need it, but not as useful. So gang scheduling ensures that a group of pods are scheduled on an all or nothing basis. So we all know that pods are a group of containers, but you can have these groups of pods that need to all be true, all be up or not be scheduled at all. And I think this goes with a lot of automation where you're looking at, I'll look at things like Argo CD. Argo CD is a group of pods, and maybe you want to, and this maybe doesn't apply to Argo CD, but you could say that you want all of them or you want none of them. So if you can't schedule some of them, you don't want half of them running. You can do things like that with this, where you can basically tie a group of pods together to do that. We need a word for a group of pods. What's a good word for a group of pods? We have a group of containers, which is a pod. And now is a group of pods, it's not a swarm. What is a group of pods? We'll look it up after this. Moving on, in place restarts also came out in 135. I think I just haven't really reported on this. Now, I do believe it became default in 136. I believe it became default in one. No, that's not the thing I meant to press. 136. Yeah, it's enabled by default in 136. In place pod restarts is also a really interesting one. It's probably a problem a lot of you haven't had, unless you've had it and then there's a problem. And basically, I'm going to oversimplify this, but you can recreate the entire pod. And what if you think about what's in a pod? So I say it's a group of containers, but that's not really true. That's a little bit of an oversimplification. A pod is actually a group of containers that run in a sandboxed environment. And that sandboxed environment has connections to things like disks, to GPUs, to a whole bunch of other C groups and namespaces. And so there's actually a bunch of infrastructure in that pod. So what an in-place, very oversimplified, an in-place pod restart basically allows you to restart the containers inside of a pod without tearing down the whole construct of the pod and standing it back up. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that goes into this because you don't want stale pods and things like that that go into, a kind of standard thing is like a sidecar. Now, I argue sometimes people use sidecars because it was the cool thing to do, and you don't always need a sidecar. But, sidecars are kind of a thing where you're running this container beside the thing. And so there was a bunch of stuff to manage there. So like I said, it's a little bit more, it's a little bit bigger of a deal than just that. Oversimplifying a little bit, but you should go check it out. It's definitely an exciting feature that I enjoy. I say I enjoy it. I have actually never used this. I mean, it's enabled by default. Do I have a cluster on 136? I have used this at work inherently by it being on 136, not by actually leveraging this. All right, let's talk about the DRA. Again, 135. I need to look at 137. I can't think of a feature now in 137 that I was really excited about. Anyways, let's go on. DRA. I haven't covered Kubernetes for a little while. CEL isn't. We'll talk about CEL in just a second. That's not really a feature. We'll talk about CEL. The DRA. So what is the DRA? So the DRA is a Kubernetes feature that lets you request and share resources among pods. Again, remember, pods are these groupings of containers, and the DRA is a thing that allows you to dynamically resource allocation, which basically, again, think about your GPUs, think about your disks, think about those things. The DRA is actually something I need to play around a bit with because I haven't actually gotten a chance to play around with it, but I am actually very excited about it. Think about your FPGAs, all those different devices and hardware accelerators. They need a way to share them amongst pods, and previously it's been painful. And I'm hoping that this actually makes it a little bit easier. So with DRA, device drivers and cluster admins define device classes that are available to claim in workloads. So basically you can claim these things, and Kubernetes allocates matching devices to specific claims and places the corresponding pods on nodes that can access the allocated devices. So again, allocating resources with DRA is similar to experience with dynamic volume provisioning. If you're familiar with that, I will give you this link if you guys aren't familiar with these things, that you can go check them out. So again, yeah, if you're used to persistent volume claims, to claim storage for capacity, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Now, what I find interesting here, this is about claims, and this, the node declared features, is about what features. And what I haven't had a chance to do yet, which I really probably need to just play around with, is how these two mesh, right? So how do your declared features and your dynamic resource allocation work in tandem, especially with things like GPUs? Now, my understanding the last time I tried to do this with GPUs, unless if you have NVIDIA's enterprise grade one. You can't make a portion of a GPU. So basically, a workload gets all of the GPU, and that's there is no splitting. Again, unless if you get their industrial, I say industrial grade, but they're really big GPUs that are in the data centers and buy their basically vGPU software. Now I don't know if that's changed. I haven't really looked into that. For my purposes, having one workload take the whole thing has been okay. And I don't know how this plays with all of that. That's, I guess, my thing. I'm excited about it. I don't know how it all plays with it. I'm not sure at this point. And let's talk. Do we want to talk about CEL right now? Well, let's not talk about CEL right now. That's in the open source. CEL's in the open source. CEL's in the open source portion. Because what happened with CEL is more than just feature releases, right? That's why I put it there. CEL is used heavily in Kubernetes. Heavily. And is a project Google made. So basically, if you guys don't know what CEL is a way that your ingress controllers and stuff can have logic that you can have validating logic that's not actually code. It's kind of almost code, but it's validating code. Like it's almost like a math language that allows you to explain what would be a valid request in code and run that dynamically on Kubernetes. No lack of no lack of security issues there. Trust me. All right. I need to look something up. Uh 21 years. 21 years. Git has had a run for 21 years. Does today mark the end of Git's dominance? I don't know. So Git brought a lot of stuff that was really amazing. As many of you know, I consider Git really the start of popular blockchain. It has a proof of ownership as far as letting you commit to the chain, and it has ways to, it has a bunch of really cool things. And I consider Git one of the very first of the modern blockchain. But has it run its course? There's been contenders like Mercurial. I personally like Mercurial. I think the best way to describe Mercurial versus Git was the James Bond to the MacGyver. Git was very much the MacGyver, and James Bond was Mercurial. It was straightforward. It was easy to use. It just did the things, but it only worked within the way that it did. Whereas Git was more of a MacGyver. It would make anything work, but it also made everything work, and it was kind of gross. Or is kind of gross. Probably past tense on Mercurial. I don't even think Firefox uses Mercurial anymore. Does Firefox still use Mercurial? I should look that up. I think they were one of the big last holdouts. Today, though, I'm seeing a bunch of stuff. Now, part of me says stuff like this is phooey. They moved to GitHub even? Oh, that was a mistake. Part of me wants to say that this is a bunch of phooey. If AIs can actually operate like humans, they can operate without a special tooling. So there's two outcomes to this. One, they can't operate like humans, and they absolutely need this. But then people like Cursor actually failed at their job, because if they can't operate like humans, that's kind of what they've been selling, that they'd be as good as, if not better than. So there's kind of competing, there's an impedance mismatch here in my mind, because you don't need a thing specifically designed for them if they can do everything we can, but better, right? Like that's a you know, you could talk about impedance mismatch and things like that, but like that just doesn't mesh in my mind, right? So to me, a lot of this has been a bunch of fooey. Either the AIs are bad or we don't need this. And either way, I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to design something for something that's bad, because if AIs are bad and can't actually use Git or have limitations leveraging it, then I don't want to use something specifically designed for them that holds back the engineers, right? So again, it just doesn't mesh in my mind why you would do something like this. Now, that being said, Origin isn't what I wanted to talk about. Origin isn't what I want to talk about. I've seen a bunch of this stuff, but the one that got me excited was lore. I didn't think I would get excited for an open source project from Unreal. Unreal has stepped on some toes recently. They've done some good things too. Like, I'm not going to you know, they definitely had some layoffs, and the layoffs, in my opinion, were handled really poorly because they spent a lot of money on some stuff and then laid off people. Was that the right choice? I don't know in the business. So I can't really say, but I know that didn't garner them goodwill. That being said, this actually excited me. Not as bad as a mistake as Codeberg would be. Grey Hatter, as soon as I'm done with this, I do want to talk about the error updates. If you have any, if you think it's safe to use error at this point, I want to know, because I want to update my machine. How's it going, Saint Device? Goot SB, what's up? I'm asking if the attack is over. So the attack isn't over, is what you're saying. You don't auto update packages? See, I auto update packages, which is scary right now. Has it? Okay, because I saw updates like this where there was more, and I didn't see any new news that said like it was over. And I know that these are what, you know, it's the 20th, so like the 13th or 14th is like the latest updates I saw, but I didn't see any updates that said, you know, all I saw was like, hey, we found more, not we think we got them all. You know, there was no Pokemon update. There was no Ash Ketchum here letting me know that it was done. I would like to have a post on that. It's done. Okay. I like I said, I actually said I don't know because there was no like all clear. I would like to see that. And maybe it's coming with like a post mortem. Like, maybe the reason they haven't is like they're just still recovering. But anyways, like I said, I just hadn't seen anything. The second was a bad faith trolling. Oh, I didn't know that. Right, Grey Hatter. I understand. I understand the current state of error. Like, I get it. Don't auto update from the error. That stinks. Where do I auto update then from? I don't want to have to think too much about updating. I like I understand, and it's okay if you do want to. I like just updating. Is there a probably isn't. Probably just means I should do a different distro. But okay, so I've been told the just read your package builds, right? There's thousands. I can't read the package build. Like, I could, and I'm still probably not going to see it, right? I don't know what Trizen is. Trizen? I don't know what that is. Can I list how many the packages? I don't know how to do that. Maybe I can. Arch list installed packages. I think Linux itself has thousands, right? All right, yay dash Q, right? Dude. We can do a line count on this. But like thousands of packages. Maybe only a couple hundred. Maybe only a couple hundred. But it's a lot. Okay. Maybe not thousands. Maybe thousands is a little over. That's still a lot to read on, though, right? Where else would they come from? I pretty much just use our. This is just what Yay reported, right? Oh, do those not come from the Arch? I mean, I thought that this was all from the Arch repos. So, like, I thought that's all that this pulled from. I mean, I didn't think it would pull Git from something else. Oh, okay. Fair. I see what you're saying. The Arch repos are not under the same issue. I see what you're saying. So it'd just be the ones that I download, which is probably only about 100. Maybe even less. It might only be like 50. That's fair. Anyways, back to Git. This source code, I haven't leveraged it yet. And as far as I know, I don't know if it has some way to use GitHub as the backend. My understanding is probably not. Probably you have to host your own server. But there was a couple things that interest me. You know, from just a sales pitch, there was there's actually like again, it builds on blockchain technology. I think blockchain is probably the coolest thing for open source code. I actually do really think that, and like I said, I think that GitHub or Git was the original one, but I think it could be improved. So you know, you have a tamper evident source of truth. It means if this is really true, it also means that your keys, if you commit your keys, are in there forever, which is awesome. Don't do it. Don't commit your keys. So, uh, anyways, the free balancing, quickly create, manage, and sync branches to freely experiment. So basically, there's zero cost branches. It's also supposed to hold large chunked data. So if you have large data that is going in your repository with it, it's supposed to handle those really well. Again, this comes from the game engine side, not something you use in the code side very well. But the immutable revision chain is really exciting for me. A service-backed architecture uses caching in front of a durable storage to scale throughput for large teams and repositories. I don't know how this will work. I think it could be pretty good. The thing that another thing that I'm interested here is how it deals with mono repos, because I know that there's a lot of people that I don't like mono repos, but I know that there's a lot of people that like mono repos. And I almost wonder if the free branching would allow you to do like a mono repo in a branching style. Not sure. Yeah. On-demand hydration and sparse workspaces by default. So this is basically everything that Google built to leverage a mono repo as individual repos. So this is why I was saying, like, the people that like mono repos, like, it almost looks like it has mono repo support built in, where workspaces can. And I realize that, like, this is probably for people who, like, oh, I'm a graphic designer and I only want to work on the graphics, or I'm a person on the code and I only want the code. And you don't want both sets of things necessarily. Not everybody does, at least. But there's actually companies that work like this way with just code as well. So yeah, I don't know. The other thing is like it has the server like GitHub would. So it's not like Git in decentralized, right? But it has a server and it just exposes the whole API for whichever language you want to use, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I don't know. And it's written in Rust, which is really cool. One thing that's interesting, you'll see that there's no CLI for Rust here, which you're like, hey, it's written in Rust. And that's because the CLI here is written in Rust, which is kind of like if you want to just take a API client library, you can just take their CLI, which is written in Rust. So that's super cool. Commit your keys. Yeah, if you want people to get your infrastructure, commit your keys, please. Please don't do that. And so one thing that I would say is if you have found that your keys are committed, you can go and delete history and Git, and that's fine. But you have to assume that somebody's gotten them, and so you have to rotate them. Rotation is the primary thing you have to do. Sure, go ahead and clean up your history. But it doesn't really matter. Like cleaning up your history is more of a morale boost. Like that didn't actually happen. Please don't look here. But when it's done, it's done. You have to assume that anybody could have gotten them. It's Epic and Rust. So hard path. Wait. Why being written in Rust is a upsetting thing? It's also MIT. So if you don't like the direction, if the community doesn't like the direction, you can fork it, like legally. We can fork it today. We can go here and fork it. So my question is, why would something, let's say it was written in TypeScript, would that be a hard pass to leverage a thing? Seems like a weird statement to me. I use a lot of stuff written in JavaScript and Python. Lots of stuff that I use is written in those things. Epic is anti-consumer. Rust is license washing? I have never heard that statement. I have never heard that the language Rust is license washing. I mean, I know what license washing is, and you can do it in any language. Like, fair enough, mate. Yeah, like if you think lore is license washing something, go for it. Like maybe it is. I haven't seen those claims yet, but lore could be license washing. Rust being a license, that blows my mind. I've actually never heard that. Yeah, there definitely can be developer issues. It would be very difficult for me to see a language to be license washing. Like I say very difficult. I didn't say impossible. There could be a language developed to do license washing, for sure, absolutely. And then Epic is anti-consumer. Is that true? Is that true? I'm not entirely sure about that. Like I said, they've definitely had their blunders. And I'm not going to say that they're pro-consumer. Because of said blunders. Saying that they're anti-consumer, probably. I feel like every major company is anti-consumer to some degree, but as far as the worst of them goes, I feel like they're not the worst of them. I could be wrong though. And you know what? I am from a firm belief of use the language that you like to use. So if you don't like to use it, great. I don't like using Python, but I do use stuff that's written in Python. I don't like writing C, but I do use stuff that's written in C. Not the worst of them. I'm saying, when you're talking about being anti-consumer, I don't know all the companies and I don't know all of the details of all the things that they do, right? And so I can't say a company is anti-consumer or not unless if I've seen strong signals. From Epic, I haven't seen strong signals. Now, they could definitely be insidious and be anti-consumer if you're assuming the worst of them. I don't take that standpoint. I haven't seen a ton of anti-consumer stuff. That being said, there could be a ton of stuff and I'm missing it. And if that's the case, then kudos, they're anti-consumer. And like I said, I assume that all large corporations are somewhat anti-consumer as they're trying to get as much money as they can. That's what inevitably that's what happens. Is these companies kill their user base because they're trying to squeeze more money out of them, and they do things that cross a line where you have your consumers and really a company should be trying to benefit their users in such a way that they get money. And so like if I ever created a company, that's what it would be trying to do. It would be trying to bring benefit to my users in such a way that they would be willing to give me money because I make their life meaningfully better in a way. Like that's what that's what a company should be trying to do. They should be striving towards that. Now, I think one of the big problems that American shareholders get is they get super greedy, and they instead of think about how can we improve these people's lives, it's how can we extract more money from these people. Now, my way would be to say, well, think about them and their needs and how you could make their needs better, and you'll get more money from them. That's not, to me, the anti-consumer is when you flip that in your mentality and say, not how can I improve their lives and make more money from them by improving their lives, but it is, and bringing value to them. But it's when you decide that, hey, this is a money machine and we're going to try to extract the money. We're going to leverage, these chemicals that are going to dilute the money in their system and let us extract it. If you guys ever like extracted metal from rock and stuff, you'll use like a lipid, or anyways, it doesn't matter. Not a lipid. Why did I say lipid? I can't think of the stupid word now of the things that bind with metal. Triazoles, is a lot of the times. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That is mine. But it's very hard to actually know what a company is thinking when it makes a decision. We get to see the decisions. And if you see enough decisions, you can go that way, right? It's a fundamental problem with our society that we tolerate companies from trying to win a negative sum game they can control. I agree. I wasn't making any excuses for anybody. That was my whole point, actually, was that I just haven't seen it. Not that it doesn't exist. Nobody's brought it forward to me. I can't keep tabs on every American company. And that's not me saying I'm turning a blind eye or anything to that. I'm just saying I'm happy for people to post the anti-consumer things that they've done. Because I haven't seen them, because I don't watch every company. I haven't used Unreal Engine for a while, and probably would be using Godot for my next game that I make. So there you go. I have no fish to fry here. But fish fries are fantastic. If you ever lived in the South, you should go to, a lot of times some of the bigger churches will have like a church fish fry, and you should go to them. It's fantastic, great community. You get to go talk to a bunch of people and eat some delicious fried fish. Let's move on. I wanted to call out two notable databases in the open source thing. I wanted to do this because of first I saw this post by ClickHouse, 10 years of ClickHouse in open source. And I thought this was a really cool article. I didn't realize ClickHouse had been around for 10 years at this point, but if you haven't heard, ClickHouse does some really cool things. They actually achieved some really amazing things in the database, and they've won a lot of really cool contracts. One of the biggest, in my mind, that I've seen, maybe they've had a bigger one, but Cloudflare actually moved their whole database over to ClickHouse and went from something like 100 nodes to 10 nodes that served nodes. I'm talking about a machine, to 10 nodes that did all of the same logging and achieved higher log throughputs for their use case. Now, every database has their use case that is good for them, and so benchmarking is kind of a difficult thing. I call it marketing. Oh, I don't know what I call it. I need to come up with a good name for it. Market benching is probably good. It's probably market benching. But they've done some pretty cool stuff, had some pretty good wins, and their database handles some stuff really coolly. Anyways, on their 10-year anniversary, I saw this post from them that I read about building in the open. There are different levels of open source. The minimum level is making the code open to the public for reading. Level 1 is the next level is when the software is updated by commits in a public repository, but not necessarily accepting contributors. This is like SQLite. I didn't realize Ladybird. I think this is a web browser. I'm not really sure. I do know what SQLite is. Level 2 is accepting contributions without a transparent and open process. Level 3 is open contribution guidelines. So this is more like your Kubernetes, where the roadmap and those types of things are developed out in the open. Anyways, this is interesting because I think a lot of open source companies find themselves in level 1 or level 2. It's hard to achieve level 3, especially for a company, because a company thinks about a lot of times they think about their advantage if they're having an open roadmap and things like that, and task tracking and things like that. So I think level 3 is very difficult. So anyways, this was a cool article. I wanted to give them a shout out. You should actually read the article because it gives some things. It gives some like things of what they want to shoot towards. I'm going to hold ClickHouse to these. I have no ability to hold them to it. I don't work for them. I'm not on their board. I don't. Nothing. Absolutely no way of holding them to it. But I do want to support them in this because this is really cool. It's very hard to achieve level 3. And I do know that they do a lot of their stuff in the open source, which is one of the reasons I give them as much credit as I do, as they seem to try to do a really good job of having a company, making money, as well as being as open source as possible, which is all really cool things and are also really difficult to achieve. So anyways, there you go. Wasn't Cloudflare bringing down half the internet when they changed to Rust? It was not the change to Rust. And their biggest outages were because their one really big outage, if you want to talk about Cloudflare outages, was the first one was because their data center main power supply went down. Their backup power supply went down. Well, their main power supply went down. Their backup power supply kicked on, but then for some reason they backfed power from their generators that kicked on, which then blew the breaker to the main because they're not supposed to backfeed from the generators, which caused a service disruption in their generators in that data center, which made the whole data center lose power, which then the key cards to the data center so people could go in there and flip those breakers were down because they were on the same power as the backup generators. And that was a whole thing. So if you want to talk about how Cloudflare went down, that was one of the instances. Now, have they had some other ones? Sure. They also had where some of their block storage was actually in GCP. It was one of the implementations behind the scenes, and when GCP went down, they went down. I actually gave them huge kudos to that one, because when they didn't call out GCP went down, because it was an architectural decision they made to leverage GCP, and in the end, that was their problem, and so that's actually really cool. And I've strived on that. I've had AWS take us down or my stuff down. And when that happens, I don't blame AWS. I leverage AWS. Sure, I do. That's my decision. That's not my consumers, my customers' fault. That's nothing they should even care about. Again, some cool articles. I do believe they had a Rust mess up. I'm blanking on what it is. They were moving something to Rust. I forget what it was. There was some uncaught exception in their distributed service. So they were redoing like the core service that like probably something stupid like logs or something. Anyways, there was some uncaught exception. I mean, I wouldn't blame that on Rust or like it obviously happened. Shame on Cloudflare, but that could happen in any language. And I'm not sitting here defending Rust. It happens. Anyways, on with my show of cool databases and updates. So yes, 10 years of ClickHouse. Kudos to them. Let's see them continue developing in the open. And yeah, I'm excited for it. The other one is DuckDB. So DuckDB is another outstanding database that has been out. Now, I found this article because why is DuckDB so fast? So you can go, I'm going to give you both links to just DuckDB if you want to see DuckDB. But if you're wanting to know why it was so fast, this was a really interesting breakdown of DuckDB's internals to like how it optimizes, which was really cool, and I loved reading about it. But I also wanted to shout out DuckDB as a really cool open source database. So if you don't know what DuckDB is, it's kind of like the cousin to SQL Lite, but for analytic in-process analytics, which I actually think it's underutilized for that. Now, I know that DuckDB, I have been hard on them for some stability. I have been hard on them for stability, but their stability has gotten better from what I've heard in the recent. So that's really good. But it's gotten better. The stability has, and I think it's underutilized. I highly think it's underutilized. It would obviously be more utilized if it was Rust. Like they have had a good Rust interface, but can't be perfect. But I wanted to give it a shout out as an open source database because those open source databases are few and far to come between. It depends on what you mean by a production ready database, right? Like, would you consider SQLite a production ready database? If your answer is no, then sure, the same applies to DuckDB. If your answer is yes, I would argue that DuckDB is maybe getting close. I think I would say it is on the same level as, like I said, they've had a few breaking changes that just kind of popped into there. Like they've had a few breaking changes that have just popped in, unwanted, unbidden. But all in all, so the thing is, if you define a database as globally replicated, zero downtime, no, it's not. That's not what SQLite or DuckDB strive to do, though, right? So I would say that you're using the wrong tool if that's what you're trying to leverage, right? If that's what you're trying to do, neither of those tools do that thing, right? So I guess it depends on what production and what you're doing. If you're wanting to do analytics jobs on your local machine, DuckDB is amazing and is absolutely production ready to do that. And as long as you don't upgrade the version, it's going to work just fine. But yeah, it's not made for large scale data. Absolutely not. Goot SB, thanks for the follow, by the way. I have actually been very critical. I don't say critical, but like I have called them out a couple of times because they did some bad releases. Even here, they'll have some bug fixes that they've had some regression in bugs. I know some people that leverage DuckDB quite highly, and so I'm quite aware when DuckDB has had a issue with that. They have gotten better over the last probably year. They actually did a focus on like being better about their release is not. I mean, they were kind of really going on the move quickly and break things, so they were adding stuff really, really quickly, which was good until a point. You know, it's good until people really start using you in production, and then they really start hating it. So, anyways. All right, those were the two databases I wanted to give a shout out because I think that they've really been, if you want to talk last 10 years, databases that have changed the open source databasing world, these are the two standouts. You still have your Postgres, and Postgres is a fantastic, nobody's competing in the relational database because Postgres is sitting there just demanding that you love it. If you want a relational database, there's no reason to really innovate on that space. They do a fantastic job. What I like about ClickHouse and DuckDB is they say, okay, well, Postgres, you do a great job there. Where else can we do a great job, and where can we iterate on that? For your SQLite, you get DuckDB. For your ClickHouse, you get Snowflake. There's not a really good closed source, open other alternative to open source. Anyways, it's good. Anyways, there you go. Your open source databases. Let's talk about open source stuff that I saw. This first one, if you have children like I do, and if you have a 3D printer like I do, I have 2 3D printers. This next one might be for you. Now, my children learned on Fusion 365 or 360 or whatever. They have a free license for individuals. And that's what my children learned on because it was the easiest thing for them to find videos on. But I found Axie. I don't know how to pronounce it. Axie. It is made in JavaScript. So it's definitely license washing something. But it's also in Svelte, which I found very interesting. I haven't actually seen big projects in Svelte. Anyways, it is a very simple 3D modeling thing that allows you to export for your printer. So oh, come on, the dark doesn't do the outside. Oh my goodness. Anyways, it's very simple. There's a couple of these out there. It's interesting. And if you want STLs to print, if your children want to do something like this, it might be a little bit easier than some of the other stuff that is out there. Moving on. This is what we were talking about earlier in the Kubernetes is the CEL. So CEL is finding a new home at GitHub. Why people are still moving to GitHub? You know what is maybe the biggest insult to GitHub down uptime. It's the uptime. It's the GitHub uptime. GitHub uptime. Do you know what is the biggest slap in the face to GitLab? The biggest slap in the face to GitLab is you can have this, where 1.9 of uptime is your target. 1.9 of uptime is your target. You could have this, and people are still going to GitHub and not GitLab. What is wrong with GitLab? I find their UI to be just horrible to use. That's my complaint for GitLab. I have tried GitLab. GitLab's UI needs a complete overhaul. Almost impossible to use. But this wasn't about GitHub. This was about CEL finding a new home. So the common expression language is a language that Kubernetes leverages, very, very much Kubernetes thing, that leverages it for your ingress controllers and things like that, that allows you to define what valid would be. So it's basically like Python that executes inside of things. It's meant to be executed inside of things, and it's meant to be really, really simple and just as a expression. So it's found a new open source. I think this is actually a big deal to CEL, and I'm happy for it because it allows it to grow outside of Google. Now, this could be that Google says that they don't want to contribute more to it. It could be, but it also empowers the community to work more on it because it's moving from Google to the CEL in GitHub. All future development, issues, and pull requests for these projects will take place in their new homes within CEL. And you should update your URLs when possible. One thing that this does is it makes it so much easier for outside contributors to get involved. If you really liked CEL and wanted to be involved in CEL, it is now much easier for you to be involved in CEL. So yeah, I think it's a cool thing. If you're looking for CEL, here, CEL, let's go. They should have done this as like CEL-let's-go. CEL, let's go. But anyways, yeah. So now you can go fork it. Sweet. I just noticed the UI overhaul. Wait. Whose UI overhaul? They did a UI overhaul like a month ago? Oh, really? Look at this. Look at this. Everything operate. What is this? What is this? I don't deserve this. I have been programmed to understand that I don't deserve fully operational. What? What? I just want to search repositories, open source repositories. I don't want to market like I just want this to be like so I'm still gonna argue that like I forget where to find the repositories. I just want to search repositories. Is this better? I think this is better. Some people would argue that the README should be at the top. I disagree. I actually like the fact that I mean, I'm here for the code generally. So I actually like it up here in general. Oh, this is actually, that was fast. That was responsive, which is better than it normally is. This is definitely redone. Okay, I have to give it a shot again. I like the sidebar. I have not seen that they had a new UI. It's impossible to have a fast code UI. This is fairly fast. This is fast enough. It was worse the last time I used it was like half a year ago, okay? So like it is a little weird that they still have this thing where like it doesn't fill out the page. It's all right. I can compensate, but not perfect. All right. Well, this is way better. Can I see? Is this the name of the pipeline? That's horrifying. Or is that the run of that pipeline? I'm not sure. See, their UI is. Anyways, I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked. Anyways, kudos to CEL. We can look at GitLab. I actually have been wanting to move off of GitHub, just because of some of the stuff that's going on it. Do I try GitLab? Oh man, that hurts me to say. It hurts me to say. Maybe I do. I should run a source tree instance. Source tree, slightly better than your code forge. Gray Hatter. Oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Code sharing without breaking the back button. Oh, I don't know about this. Okay. I realize it's under development. Could we get the file tree over here? Can we get the file tree over here so I don't have to go back to then like click on the other thing? One request. So, now my question is this like a thing where like, okay, what would be cool? I'm actually being serious here. I would like a blockchain open source Git alternative where so what I don't want to do is I don't want to be responsible for running my own Git instance and server, because then I also have to be responsible for backing it up. So if I run source tree, and I need to then also take daily backups of it, right? But what if it was on the blockchain, so everything was committed to that blockchain? Now I realize that this has a big problem for big files and things like that, and everything being on the blockchain would not necessarily be attainable. So maybe it's not fully blockchain. I'm not sure at this point. But the thought is that everyone's computers would have the replica of it. So like your computer might be the source of truth, but then it would be replicated, or at least parts of it replicated to other people's computer. I don't know. Because my big problem with running my own, like this here, is not running it, it's maintaining it. Maintaining it becomes a lot of work. I'm sure that it runs very well and is easy. I don't trust myself not to do something stupid. So this will mirror it. So like I could have this mirror it to like GitHub and not have to worry about whether GitHub is up or not. It's not Rust, it's Zig. Gray Hatter likes to license wash and Zig. I like to license wash and Rust. It's it's what we like to do. See, I, on the other hand, can run Zig code. It won't hurt my feelings. I actually like Zig. That's an interesting thing. So Gray Hatter, that's actually a really cool idea. I kind of like that idea. That's cool. You should keep us up to date on the progress of that. All right. Along the lines of open source, we have a few more things to talk about really quickly, and then we'll get on to some Rust coding, just like you like it. I've heard how much you like it. Yeah, Google is joining the Eclipse Foundation. Now, I found this really interesting because there was another change that corresponded with this. So the extensions for VS Code compatible errors or errors editors, and you have the Open VSX registry, and this is what I think Google really cared about. Like if you read this, Google's joined the Eclipse Foundation as a strategic member, reflecting the company's continued investment in. Like they pose this as a thing like this, but they released Anti-Gravity, their AI code editor to Cursor, whatever. Don't care. It was terrible. Like, let me tell you, that thing was so vibe coded. It was one of the worst pieces of software I have ever touched. The right half of my tabs, I couldn't even click on. I have to delete tabs to get to the one for being built on Visual Studio. They broke like 3/4 of the basic functionality of Visual Studio. It was a disaster. Anyways, I think this is a strategic foot in the door for the Open VSX managed registry. Like they weren't even super shy about it. Basically, they want a non-Microsoft controlled registry for things like anti-gravity. And that's what this is. So now Google has their own registry. Now, remember, these are all part of your supply chain. So if you're using plugins, whether it's from VSX or from Microsoft's own registry, they can be taken and they can be had, and your editor can give you viruses. Remember that. Remember that, children? There you go. Now, as a quick aside, that's all I had for open source. Did anybody see anything for open source? Any other notable mentions for open source? I don't know what Radical is. Radical could be written in Rust. Is it open source? Oh, I see what it is. The only problem with something like this is you'd only want to peer-to-peer with a group of people, right? And the reason is otherwise you'd have hundreds of gigs, thousands of gigs of other people's stuff on your computer that you never use. So it can't be a backup of the other people. So really it just shares the things that people like if other people use my repository. But if I only made some stuff that only I used, it wouldn't actually be decentralized. It'd just be on my computer. Unless there was some protocol to like ensure that it's at least on 2 other machines. I don't know. I'd have to look at this. This is interesting. It's not on GitHub, is it? It shouldn't be. It should be hosted on itself, right? Anyways, anything else for open source? GitLab, BitTorrent. Okay. I see. Well, I found an interesting article that actually struck a chord. WordPress released this, which it surprised me for multiple reasons. But they did some research, and they found that consumers say that the internet feels less human than 10 years ago. I would say less human than 5 years ago, but 10 is also fine. People are feeling bot fatigue. Average weekly hours enterprise teams spend improving AI visibility. I don't know what this means. And then consumers can't name a brand using AI well in its messaging. This one really strikes me because a lot of these brands are going out and using AI to get funding, but people are really tired of the messaging. And so, like, I actually think that it's starting to hurt their name. They might get funding based off of it, but they're not actually getting reputation, not the good reputation. This was interesting. I think it's interesting, an interesting read. A less human web costs you readers. I want to point this out. Like, this is easy. I found news articles like this, and like, I won't go to Linux security anymore because, like, when your thing is basically straight off an AI and you copy and paste it out of it, it reads like it's straight off an AI. And some of this doesn't even make sense. Like, the words sound sophisticated, but they don't actually make sense when reading it. So, like, I removed Linux security from my list of places that I will search for news because of this. So yeah, I am feeling this where it's like, yeah, I won't read places that feel like it was. I don't care if you used an AI to write, as long as it's still coherent. So anyways, I just was very much feeling this year. Yeah. Hopefully AI improves before the bubble pops. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're all thinking. Oh boy. And then SpaceX bought Cursor. I don't know. This is part of the news. It's an all stock. I feel like SpaceX stock is going to crash, so I'm not sure it's actually the 60 billion you think it is, because SpaceX stock is so overinflated that it doesn't make any sense. I would not touch this with a countrywide pull, and I'm not talking like a small country like Germany. I'm talking about a big country like Russia. Like, you think about how wide Russia is. Make a pull that long. Wouldn't touch this. Not investment advice. I am not an investment specialist. Still wouldn't touch it. My personal belief. And that's it for the news Friday. Did I miss anything important? Oh, actually, I did. I missed this. This didn't have a category to go in. Did you guys see this? Google Workspace threatens to block Firefox. At the time of writing, Google Workspace appears to be starting to warn users that from Firefox that they must use Chrome. This was a Google Workspace business plan account and Workspace from an up-to-date browser and OS. At this time, Firefox access still seems to work, but I have no idea for how long. So at the end of this story, Google Workspace basically backtracked that they had to. Instead of going from they had to, they basically said like, oh, well, actually, you're not going to be able to offline access to Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Docs, Sheets. So like, you don't have offline access. Offline access doesn't even make sense to me on most of those things, because really it's just like a sync after you're back online. And okay, that's not a big deal. Like, that's a massively different warning than you can't use it. Client-side encryption in Google Meets. I'm not sure why this doesn't work on Firefox. And why does desktop notifications in Gmail not work in Apple Safari? This feels like them just not supporting the browsers. These things here seem like pure lazy. And it's even worse when they're pushing that the AI would just write the code. Why don't you have the AI write the code to support these things, right? And in fact, this right here should be supportable in the browser, right? They just don't do it because they obviously wrote it into Google Chrome. They wrote it as a part of Google Chrome. So, anyways, it does work in Microsoft Edge though. So, I mean, it's Chrome based. It's Chrome based. These two are just not Chromium based. If you're wondering why it works in Edge, Chromium not based in Chromium, based in Chromium, works well. So it probably also works well in Brave. I think that's Chrome based. Venturi, I don't know. There's like a bajillion Chrome based browsers out there. Pick your poison and go for it. You shouldn't pretend like you can't figure out a blatantly unethical behavior. I didn't pretend like I couldn't figure out. I think you misread me, good sir. Let's see. It could be intentional. I don't have any evidence to point that it'd be intentional. It very well could be. And do I doubt Google? No, I don't. They have enough things where I would say it's highly possible that it's intentional. The weird Edge case is Edge. Like if it was really intentional, they would make it in Chrome and not just like a Chromium based browser. So then it makes me like there is a possibility that they just wrote a lot of this for the Chromium engine and like they're too lazy to do anything else. That's a possibility. Like they just don't want to make a team that's going to actually support this, right? I don't know. But I can tell you that Google has not bought good graces by any means. Okay. I'm done with the news. I think when you refer to a corporation as being lazy, you actually refer to you're actually saying like they don't want to spend the money on it, right? That's what you're really saying. At least that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's a wrong term of it. If I say a corporation, I guess there's a couple terms of being lazy because you could say that they're being lazy on their security, which means that they're just not focusing on security. And that's another acceptable use, in my opinion. It's not. You're not saying like, oh, they're being lazy and staying in bed. You're either saying they don't want to expend the capital. You're saying that they're not thinking about it and they're being lazy in their processes as a company. You're more attacking that type of thing. I'm not lying. I just told you what I thought it was defined as. That's a weird thing to come out and saying I'm lying. When I said I think that's what I mean when I say a company is being lazy. I don't know. 6-7 that and think about that. That's outstanding. Okay, one thing that I was trying. I don't know what I just pressed. One thing that I was just trying the other day is MVChad for, I got a little tired of maintaining my own NeoVim, so I was like, let's try a distribution. And I've been trying this for a little bit. It's taken me back to my roots about how I used before Quick Start a little bit. I'm giving it a shot a little bit. I'm using it more as like an editor, and I'm not updating, I'm not tweaking, I'm just kind of using it out of the box, and seeing how it works. I still don't know a lot of the key commands. Yeah, still learning the key commands. There's like a side panel that you can open up. Not like that. There is a toggleable toggle. We can toggle bit it. And I forgot the. I forgot the key command. It's okay because I can just like I can open up fuzzy find like normal, which is good. Fuzzy find is acceptable. CH, is it CH? Oh no, this is the quick sheet. Oh, look at this pro. We have a pro. Valp Mord, thank you so much for being a pro. Like literally, I downloaded it this week and I opened it like 4 times. All right, I wanted to like the file tree. That's what I wanted. I like this though. Fantastic. So let's see. Toggle commit cheat sheet relative number line number commit line. That's not the toggle I want. NV tree right here. Focus window toggle window. So it's Control N. There we go. Look at that. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is a cool cheat sheet. That's laid out nicely too. All right. That's actually oh. All right. We were. Let's just go in here. No, not Twitch alerts. Bruce. Okay. Now, one thing that is interesting. Nope. Okay. Next space does not work. Two things. One, it's focus. So this is just E to go. How do I go focus back? Because like now I'm stuck in this window over here. And I want to get to the next buffer. This buffer is, I'm guessing, what would be like next buffer. Is there a buffer help here? I'm missing stuff. So like we can toggle that, and obviously I come back after toggling, but like I want to leave it up. Oh, so there's buffer. I just couldn't read it over here. So go to next would be tab. So can I just do it with tab? Is that it? So let's open this back up. So let's open this up. Wait. I was pressing the wrong button. So I'm here, and now I forgot what it was just tab. It's not. Oh, tab opened another buffer. So our buffers are listed here, but I'm still in the tree. But I'd like to leave the tree up and not have to toggle it down to get over here. Hmm. All right, I need to go and get a drink. I'm going to be right back. Let me run grab a drink. I only need like 3 minutes. 5 minutes. Give me 5 minute break. Give me a 5 minute break. Let me grab a drink. I'm not gonna make a cup of coffee. And then we're gonna get back to working on this. I want to get Twitch chat back up and the Wordle game back up and running. We might open up Zed just a little bit, especially if there's like file moving. I find moving a lot of files around not as fun in here inside of a Vim distro. It might be great in this, you know, it could be great in this. I don't know. Like there's probably like a select file and then move it. Like I could probably just yank these and I yanked the lines. I would hate to know what happens if I tried pasting these lines. Does that move the files? If it does, it's brilliant. I love it. But also, let me test it with just one. Let me test it with just one. This yank that line, and we're just gonna put that. We're just gonna put that in here. Utils goes in Wordle. No, that doesn't work. Okay, that would be brilliant. I would love that. I would love that if I could just yank lines and paste them somewhere else. InVitree. You should implement that. And I'm sure they have a way of doing it. It's just not that way. It's just not that way. I'm going to put a little music on. You guys listen to some Twinkle tunes. Valtmord. We'll talk about that. Possibly. Absolutely possibly. I need to get something to drink though. I do have mandatory ad coming up. Let's see. Yeah, I'll do a 3-minute ad. I'm going to take a 3 to 5 minute break. I'll be right back after this ad. Give me just 1 second. And this will delay pre-roll ads for people. Sorry about the ads. Control L and Control H. Cool. I will try that as soon as I'm back. I will try that. Thanks for the tip. Lore Slayer, thanks for the follow. All right. All right. Control L. Okay. Okay, now question, if let's say we open this. All right, we're going to do something in this. Can we use L will go over to there. So to do buffer, we need to use tab. Okay, but let's say this. Let's say this. We're over here and we get over here. So now we have 3 open. Now we can go this direction. If I do shift tab, we'll go the opposite direction. It does go opposite direction. So that all works how I would expect it to work. And then if we want to jump to a file or now if I do that, it will go back to the latest one. So that's in reverse. So if I go okay. So then perfect. Okay, so yeah, this works for going in and out of the invim tree. Cool. Excellent. And then I can always close it. We're in the middle of a reorg, or a reorganization of the code. So having the tree open kind of helps me because it's all changed quite a bit as far as how this code is organized. So because a lot of times I feel like that's better. Like you can use this space better. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, we got to get this project working. Okay, so any of you that are new, the weekend of July 4th, I'm doing the AI games. So you should come join. It's a lot of fun. We have competitive games that they're going to do. We have coding things that they're going to do. We're going to try and learn what they're good at, what they're bad at. Should be a lot of fun. Let's just see Bruce, cargo bill. If you guys haven't seen this, this is Wordle for Twitch chat. So when I go on a break, you guys get to play Wordle with each other. It's fun. If you like shared mutual agony, it's fun. Shared misery. I heard that that's what people like, so I made a game to share it. Oh, that's right. We've got to find... All right. Oh, we're in main. Let's open up. How do I go to the next error? Oh, I feel like Rust is not it's not language servering, right? It's pretty printed, but like I don't have like a let's see. Oh. This is difficult for me to press. Not impossible, I have to think about it for a little bit. That's difficult for me to press. Bracket D. Open bracket D. Let me try to do this key combination. Okay, so open bracket is that. I can't actually press this. Okay, so diagnostics are broken. I guess we're just gonna have to update the config. Let's see, where is that config? The reason I can't do it is I have to hold the D key to do the bracket. So to do a bracket, I have to hold the D key, which means I can't also shift D. It is not a thing I can actually press. Wait, no. Is it not, all right, here we go. I think I just wanted to CD into this. Is this what I want? I'm not sure. Let's see. I've never actually... Mappings? Not exactly what I wanted. Maybe I need to go look at their, let's look at the README. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I need to go to the repo. Why MV Chad? I don't know. I just picked one. Let's see, docs. So I just remap it here. So I think I was in the right spot. I think I just go here to mappings. That's what I'm gonna try. Okay, and this is the... I was looking for like their mappings and I was just going to update their mappings. here. So this is what puts it in the cheat sheet, this description. I think that's what they were saying. I actually don't see their options for... I was looking for how they... I didn't know what their diagnostics went to, right? I guess it's just this. Is that it? Okay, I don't know. We're just gonna try something. Let's try this. Do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely do not know what I'm doing. Did I copy this? Thought I did. Apparently not. Let's see. We want go to next. Go to next. Will this work? No more valid. Okay, sure. Cool. That worked. No more valid diagnostics move to. Okay. Excellent. So that does overwrite there. Now, the next thing is we've got to get this tied up with Rust, our LSP running locally. So, this is using lazy, right? Which Rust were we using? So we want to use the one that's local on our computer, right? Vim, nvim, use LSP, use local. So we don't want to use Mason. I don't remember what this was. Was this like actually putting a config into... I think this is just part of our setting though, right? I should just go pull this from GitHub, right? I did this once before. In this massive, oh, it's so massive. I didn't just have this. Yeah, this is what Rust Analyzer. I need to do the Rust Analyzer here. I don't know how to do this in here. Let's see. So what I'm failing at the key bindings. Okay, would it be here? Is this where I would overwrite them? But how do I overwrite something like this? Let's do. Here we go. I want to use Rust Analyzer locally. I don't want to use a Mason one. Mason would be nice if this was like not. I just want to use what's on the system. You can get like out of sync, which is weird. is so difficult. All right, where is lazy? So I think in how this is, if I'm thinking correct, I should do all my plugin installs here, right? I think. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, I did actually just delete them. Let's go over here. Let's actually copy this. Thank you. Did we just do this? This feels weird. I feel like maybe it should be inside this return. That's not exactly what I did with the kickstart, right? Maybe it is, and I just didn't realize it. This is on the lazy setup. So I feel like maybe this goes like... I don't know. This seems not right, but I don't know what right is. So I need to find somebody else's I need to find somebody else's let me see if I can't skip through some of this.
If you want to install approach, heading back over to the only import the near-vim LSP. Additionally, I like that has the RAM in the module name. To add this plugin to run Lua code when the package is loaded. Here's the line to enable Rust auto formatting.
Right. Okay, so this is my thing though. I am in plugins. Oh, wait. I'm in lazy, not in plugins. Oh, there's a folder for plugins. I see. I made mistakes. Oh, wait. He's in custom. Oh, my goodness. He's not even... One second. First, if I was going to do this, I should... Not that. Should do this. This shouldn't go here. It should... Well, I say should. What's in here? Ah, this looks more correct. This is what I wanted. Huh. Let's just try that. I don't know. I don't know if that worked. It did seem to have worked. The fans on my computer let me know that it worked. Oh, that hurts my heart. Calm down. Calm down. It did work. It did work. Sometimes. All right. And now, yeah, we can go to diagnostic. We don't need to. Okay, this is where we need yeah. Okay. All right, where is chat? Chat is in common now, right? It's in Twitch common, a little overly verbose, but okay, so Twitch comment. Why can't you find Twitch comment? Oh, we're in crate. This isn't in crate anymore, right? I don't know what that is, but this will live out here. Right? I put a semicolon. Okay. Consider importing this module. Why would it say to import Wordle game? I feel like that's a miss issue. That doesn't exist anymore. All right. Now, does front end... What are these things? Host info and... They were originally in something named front end. How did I tear this up so badly? Oh, the front end. Ooh, interesting. The front end would be in Twitch alerts, right? Do I use front end anywhere in here? Like, do I actually use this? Okay, so these need to be moved out into like a common. Okay. I at least know what we're talking about now. Did I move them here? If I didn't... Where did we move these? I would do a project search, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, wait, I do. I do. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh no, I need a do I know how to? No, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, I did not want to open the cheat sheet in there. Thank you. That was not my goal. Okay, let's let's toggle off the... How do we toggle off the we toggle it off that way. We got to open up the cheat sheet. because what I want to know is this is shortcuts for telescope, right? Telescope. So I want the fine grep, right? The live grep. FW. Oh. That is not what I normally... That's not what I wanted to do either. Fine grep is not what I was looking for, but... or FW is not. Oh, I thought I looked here. I thought I wasn't in Twitch alerts. What? What? So it is here. Yeah. Okay. So what I need to realize is what part of this needs to go into common, right? Does all of it? No, all of it does not. For sure. We're just leveraging this. Just this? I think maybe just this. Ooh, that's a particularly messy piece of code. All right. And then let's see. That puts us into... We'll just put this into Twitch common. This is probably more like networking I don't want another common. Ooh, how do I make a new file? How do I make a new file in here? I don't know. How do I make a new file? I could do it like through the command line, but I don't know from the Explorer sidebar. Space E. Woosha, how are you? How are you doing? A to create a new file. Okay. Not here, not here, here. Not where I wanted to. Not at all. I guess I need to do here, right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What have I done? Do you have the file tree on there? Nice. I almost knew it. I almost knew it. A file tree is much appreciated. Wait. Let's see. There's a little bit that needs... Is this just because I'm zoomed in? Let's try resetting this. I think that was on me. Oh, this is variable width. I see it. It only takes up at whatever the longest line is. It's not a set width. I see. It just looked weird. You got it in there. Nice. Ooh, yeah, 96 is about the hottest it gets here in the summer. We're at 78, and I thought it was hot, which I guess is not. Next week is supposed to be brutal. We're like 82. 82. Oh, high of 82 is the worst. All right. Wait a second. I was looking at something over here. Oh, yeah. I want to delete. Maybe I mark it and then I can delete it. Maybe. So I'm going to jump over there. Let's see. I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to mark that. Remove network.es. Cool. All right. $40C. I think $40C is roughly 100. That's my rough math in my head. I think $40C to freedom units. Roughly 100. Oh. I experienced this once in my life. I experienced this once. It is not full summer yet. I feel for you. 104. That's brutal. I think 28 is about max of what I like to experience. That's what it's supposed to be next week. 28. I can operate outside at 20. Okay, one thing that's big difference. It's humid where I am at. We get a lot of rain. It's always humid. Not a rainforest level of humidity, but like it's always close in the Ohio Valley River to 100% humidity. So 82 in my area is much worse than 90 in Arizona, right? Just much worse. Feeling wise. What's 20? Yeah, 20 is like perfect. This is like perfect weather. 20 is beautiful. You know, generally I say 75. Yeah, 23. Absolute gorgeous. Anywhere between 50 and 75 is beautiful. Anywhere between 50 and 75. 10 and 23. Anywhere between 10 and 23 is absolutely beautiful. Okay, Let's see. I think this will actually combine these. Let's see. Twitch, common. No. Twitch, common. Front end. Actually, I think this is network, right? Let's see. Yeah, network. Now, I think it should combine them. It didn't combine these two. That's sad. I thought they would combine the two. What is that we need to run on saving? Is that, that's not Clippy, right? We need to run something when we save a file. It looks like it's running cargo Clippy. Clippy would change this, right? So what we need to do is really affect how it clips, right? My news was basically that I don't know. I mean, and I have been corrected in this stream that it is over. They didn't actually state that it was over, that the current bad actors were fully discovered. Now, per the community, we think that it is. You know, I would like to see them make a post as far as that. Because like their last post right now says this, and I also walked through where there was other malicious packages. Now it seems like this was more of somebody trolling than it was actually malicious actors. I don't really know. I'm not big into it. I haven't actually updated my machine, but now it seems like, and maybe what you should always be doing is for everything that you've installed from the Arch user repository, you should validate it. Yeah, I've never reviewed a package build file, so now I'm like, I don't even know what I would be looking for. So maybe next week we'll start looking at what we will be looking for in package build files. Until the next one. Exactly. You just read it. But like, what am I reading? Suspicious stuff will jump out? What am I working on? Well, I'm working on I'm working on a mess that I created right now. So I have this thing that plays games with Twitch chat. So like this is Wordle, and I did start a little bit onto the Dungeons and Dragons where Twitch chat plays a game. So like when I'm taking a break, you can play Wordle. And there's a bunch of rules based off of what Twitch chat can do and whatnot, and you're trying to win. Now, at the end of the day, I kind of broke it by making a big change, which is fine. Because I'm making the code a little bit more sane. I'm reorganizing it. On top of that, the big I don't like words in the song. Thank you very much. The big thing that's coming up for the stream is the weekend of July 4th. We're doing the AI games. I put a lot of work into that, so that's what I'm working throughout the week. And I do some of the work here on the weekends on stream. We're doing the AI games where we test AIs, their capabilities. We pit them against each other. We built a harness that allows them to play chess, checkers, Connect 4 and stuff against each other. also the classic tic-tac-toe, so we get War Games references in there. So we do all of those things. So that's coming up, and I'm working on that as well. And with this, I've been playing around with editors. I'm kind of in between editors right now, which is a weird thing for me to say. I'm in between editors right now. I think like if I had to pick an out of the box, it's Zed. I like Zed a lot, but I am experimenting some with NVChad. Just see how I like it. I was doing Kickstart. I really like Kickstart, but my big problem with Kickstart was it was made for you to tweak, but once you tweaked it, it was hard to keep in sync with updates that were coming out. And tweaking it was fun, but then like it's a lot to maintain, and I don't want to maintain an editor, so I kind of want it out of the box. So right now, my 2 is NVChad and Zed. So I'm experimenting a little bit with those. So this attack was easy to spot with the post install, but the bigger thing is like if they could just take over a random package and it could still look right. Right? Like, I'm not sure. Right, that's always been true. So this has a lot of questions in my mind, right? What if I installed a package that becomes unmaintained? It actually becomes an active attack vector to my computer. People who try to compromise other people's machines are not smart people. I don't know. Probably smarter than me. I wouldn't do it, but... Okay, did I lose my LSP? I don't know what this little... Oh, that's light mode. Ugh. Why did I click it? All right, I want to like close these, but Q seems to quit the whole buffer, not that single one. I don't want to click with my mouse. And I can't even click on this one. And click on all these others. I gotta figure this out. Sure, post install is just easy pickings right now, right? That's why they do it. But people are looking for it now, so yes. And this is why I'm not sure what I would be looking for. let's get out of here. I feel like I don't feel like the LSP was working. It says no more valid, but we know that there was like a metric butt ton of them. So for every Arch user repository package you install, you also subscribe to get an email from them. And then in that email has the package build for the updates. So is this like the big tell here that the maintainer changed? So, like, if you see a change in the author, like, you gotta dig into it. Right, because, like, maintainers do change just anytime that there's a handoff. Oh, I wouldn't trust Merrick. Absolutely not. Hey, he was just bumping the version. Look at that. Interesting. All right. Okay. I feel like this is still not quite working, but that's okay. I wanted to see next error. Oh no. So the connection map, which is here, let's see. Is here. Wait, is it here? Not here? Oh, wait. Front end types connection map. Oh. It is here. It is here. Ew. Ew. I don't want this in the common. Okay, it's fine though. We're gonna just move all types over. Okay, I'm gonna try it this way though. I'm gonna... Ooh. Am I gonna do something? I felt like I had... Here we go, here we go. To copy a file, to paste a file. I can't cut a file? There's no cut? I was gonna just copy this one, copy types, and we're gonna throw that over into common. That's so gross. And then we want to mark and delete that one. Yeah. All right. Now we should get the same problem connection map. In the network, okay. And that's because you don't have it included. Do we want to do it this way? Yeah, this is fine, right? So this would be network. No, this would not be. This would be types. Types. We're in network. Type. Oh, you know what? You know what? What was it? Let's see. Twitch alerts. Common types. Oh, let's see. This is because of the... That should solve that. Yeah. This is the diffuse salt. Let me see. It adds an npm dependency. I don't know if this sets any red flags. Adding a Google authenticator looks weird. A git hook. But the npm, like adding npm seems weird. I don't know if there's anything else in here that I should be seeing that looks super weird other than just adding npm. Like, the Google Authenticator looks legitimate because this is a Google Authenticator libpam. 1 second. Let's see. On upgrade action. This is the thing that looks weird though, right? This right here. So they add NPM, which is weird. And then they exec on this, which requires the NPM. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, yeah. Now we're back to the errors I was expecting. So we cleaned that up. Excellent. Unresolved import AI manager. Do we actually use the AI manager at this point? I feel like the answer is no. Not yet. Which file was this in? Main, yeah. Oh, this is right at the top. Okay. AI manager. I think we can just delete that. We can delete that. Twitch listener. I do think we need this, which this becomes Twitch common. Twitch listener. Cool. Unresolved imports, server args, no server args. And ops. Are you sure? I mean, obviously you're sure. I'm not sure. I thought I copied the same ops just across. So this is actually really interesting. We do have a server args because we have a server. Do we just need to delete this? We don't even need these, right? I think that's the answer here. I think this is all to just be deleted because this is for running the server and nothing we're going to do here. Because the only thing we can do here is start a game because that's all this does. Anyways, yeah, we're moving the code. Oh, this is way more work than it should have been. Who created a module named utils? Like, seriously, what a noob. All right, where did utils go? Ooh, utils. It depends on what. Wow, this wasn't even like network utils. Utils install. Oh, I know what I did here. This is just like. I know what I did here. Okay. Let's see here. These are like. Yeah, like tracing and everything. Do we want this in? I almost feel like these type of utils warrant their own Own refactor. What I'm going to do is gross. We're gonna have not in I don't want it there. I'm going to just copy I'm gonna copy utils into Bruce. Oh wait, it's already there. What are we doing? Oh, I see what. Ow. Bruce. Bruce, come on. Okay, I see what happened there. I was gonna say, I copied a lot of the code just as we're detangling. And then this becomes SQLite. SQL common. I don't believe that's in the cargo yet. SQL common. Beautiful. All right, now we can jump back over to not there. No. Okay, I'm learning it. I'm learning the commands. All right. No. Oh, Merrick. Good job. Okay, at least this is easy to solve. Easy to solve. Okay. So this is then. All right, and then this is in. Games. This is Bruce does not have this idea, right? So really, I think this just comes down to create Wordle, right? Because that's all Bruce does is play games. Okay. Now I just want, one thing that I'm gonna have to do is get this where it cleans up the file. I don't want to manually clean these up. Like these two should be combined. This should be done by, actually, I don't even think we use these anymore. I think we moved these out, but the thing that used these was like the start server. I probably shouldn't have moved them. Sweet. All right. Let's see how this runs. Or, I mean, it won't run. But, like... Is that really it? Now we just have to figure out... we have to figure this out. This was like one of the reasons for splitting. I don't know why. I forget what this is called. Why doesn't fuzzy find .envs? It's right there. There has to be a setting for that. I need to... I think you're right that dot files are hidden by default. That's probably a setting, so... I will just go over here like this and go to it myself. It's this that I want to set, right? Database URL for Bruce. This is Bruce. Let's see. Why can't I paste? All right, well, I can't paste. So I didn't want to type that. Come on, why are you being like this? Is this an NV Chad thing? Like, we won't let you copy and paste? I guess it's an NV Chad thing. Let me try it with the... Copy and paste out of NV Chad. Is this really a thing? Boy X, how are you doing? Boy X, I'm trying to use NV Chad. And the inability to copy and paste is real. Like, I'm opening up another editor to go and copy and paste because it actually turns out to be impossible. Confirmed. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted, NV Chad. That didn't help anyhow. It didn't help. Unable to open database file. So it's not saying like table didn't exist. It's saying couldn't find the... It couldn't open the database file. Let's make sure it's... Wait. Did I just... Let's see. Source, Wordle scoreboard. That seems right to me. Source, Wordle, Wordle scoreboard. It's right there. So that path seems correct. Hmm. What should we do? Dream traveling. You followed me, and I don't see a Twitch alert, which means it's not working right now. Would you like to see one of the coolest Twitch alerts you're ever going to see? I gotta go on incognito. I got a cone of silence. 1 second, we're going cone of silence. I will fix the problem that we happen to have. I'm gonna fix it. I gotta get a new token for it. That's the only thing that ever is wrong with it. It just doesn't have the right token. So give me a second to refresh this token. The whole Twitch refreshing token is like a huge pain in the butt. It should, if you're like, it should be like automatic. You're right. It absolutely should be automatic. It's not automatic because it's like a huge pain in the butt. Almost impossible to test easily. Oh my goodness. 1 second. Now I gotta log into Twitch. 1 second. One second, guy. I love it when they do this. I need a better cone of silence screen. You know what'd be really cool is if during cone of silence you guys got to play a game or something. Like that thing wasn't broken. And you guys could play a game while I do cone of silence stuff. That would be cool. I wish you guys knew a better developer. Okay. Single sign-on done. Now I can run this again. Not single sign-on. Two-factor authentication sign-on. Oh no, I can't, and I can't do this because I have a container running. 1 second. I have the struggle is real. So what happens is I have to request the token and then they send it back to like the local host, which right now I have a container running, which means it's getting screwed up. Let me bring this down really quickly. Docker PS, thank you. Docker PS, Docker stop. Docker PS. Okay. We were running a hardness server, and that was intercepting the communications. Wow, this actually took much more time than usual. Not only did we have to sign in and two-factor authentication, we had to disable the hardness server going, and finally I have the token, which now I can update the deployment with. 1 second, let me update my secrets. Another cone of silence thing. My struggle is everything, obviously, is my struggle. All right. To update the secret, I have to sign in. 1 second, 1 second. And I'm gonna have to do another two-factor authentication. This is fantastic, but I'm already logged into my password manager, so like there is a bonus. There is a bonus. But I will have to two-factor authenticate to this. One second. All right. And we're back. We're back. Now, if you'd like to unfollow and follow again, you can get your prompt because it should work now. And sorry for everybody that followed and it didn't work for you. So Lord Slayer, Goot SB, and Dream Traveling, it wasn't working because of that. But I fixed it. Actually, I need to cone of silence. One more thing I need to clean. One more screen. One more screen has something that is removed now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All that is good. Let's get that. And we're back to more of Merrick's struggles. Oh, all right. All right. What should what were we working? Oh, okay. Cargo build. Let's see what our problem. Oh, dear. Oh, wait. No, we're not in Bruce. All right. Cargo build. Let's go. All right, we're still struggling with our query. Unable to open database file. You're right. You know what? I love you too, Bruce. Why? Why does it not find... One second. So we're exporting this, right? Which, if I... And that's exactly it. Wordle scoreboard. Let's do cargo run. I want to see. Yeah, it's not going to. Did I do something stupid here? I feel like I did. Oh, that's good. That's good at least. I wish it would tell me from whence it tried to open it. Like what path it was using. So it almost makes me want to stop using the macros because the code is pointed to the right location. And the macros are really cool because they actually can check that your schema is correct, like statically, which is cool. But it keeps causing me pain. It keeps causing me pain. What should I... Because, like, this is the macro, so I can't, like, do a print line. But I've never had a problem up to this point with this, right? SQLX. Am I doing it right? I feel like the answer is no. Yeah, database URL, SQLite, todos.db, right? That's what I'm doing right here. SQLite. And it's a relative path. Right. Okay, what we can do is this. Let's try this. Wordle scoreboard.old or to src wordle scoreboard.old. All right, it doesn't exist anymore. I actually do think I would like to change where this is all pointed to. So now I'd go back and export this to just be here. Anyhow, right? Because this will, and really, actually not this, it would just be any of the games. We're just going to have one database for all the games. So we'll have like games DB, and in this DB, we'll have a table for the Wordle scoreboard. And then really what we want to look through here, if I remember, let's see, Bruce. In Bruce, we're going to have migrations. Those aren't in SQL common, are they? Please tell me no. Good. We're going to have migrations for the database. Where are the migrations for this one? Where are my migrations? Oh, it's in Wordle. Okay. And then, yeah, we're creating a table of Wordle high scores. So that works here because what we'll do here is we'll do migrations, and I didn't mean to create a file. Delete this. No, delete it. I meant yes. And then we need to go in Bruce, migration. So we create migrations, and then we need to go into Wordle and grab this, copy this. And paste that in there, and then we can just go ahead and delete that. Yep. And now this was all because we were doing like multi-database. And now we can go over here and do SQLX. I forget. It's like database create. Database create. And then we can do migrate. Help. I think it will just run in. Yeah, I think we can just do run. And now we can do cargo build, right? No. The answer is no, we cannot do that. Shame on me for thinking it. All right, let's see. And we have a games DB. Cool. And that was made by the database URL. So this is where SQLX thinks it should be. It's there. Okay. Unable to open database file. I didn't give SQLX any of the things. It just derived it all from what was locally here. All right. Maybe this is screwing with it. Maybe this is screwing with it. You know what? No. I mean, it should be taking it from the environment variable is the end of the thing. Like, what am I screwing up here? I'm missing something. I am missing something. What am I missing, though? GamesDB, this is what was used. Let's do games.db. Yeah, this is what was used to create the database. Why can't it find it? I've never had this problem. Okay, you know what I wonder? You know what I wonder? If because we're in a Rust project, if it's running from let me try this. Let me try this. I wonder if it's running from what if we do I wonder if when you go and build, it's running from the root, even though we're in Bruce. I hate myself. Dane, a legend. Dane, you just subscribed. Thank you so much. In my time of need. The need is strong right now. I just wasted a bunch of time trying to figure out why, and it's because we went even though we're building Bruce from the Bruce package, Rust is giving it the workspace directory when it's looking at these things. So that means I think in here, if we go into Bruce's environment, we're going to have to do this. Okay. 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 I thought build was going from where I was running. Like that's where what I would have expected. Oh my gosh. Does that mean this entire time? Can we play Wordle? Oh, this all changes. Oh, cargo run, game Wordle. Okay, so this doesn't work because okay, so funny thing is we changed all that stuff to work for the environment, but it is actually hard coded. Like, okay, so we got to go change that. Are we almost done? It wasn't my time of need. Dane, how are you doing? Are you ready for the AI games? I'm pretty ready for the AI games. I'm pretty excited about them. I have what I think will be a bunch of fun stuff. That's just fun to see. I can't talk too much about them because some of them are a secret. I know that some of them we've developed on here, like the AI arena, where they're going to compete against each other. Some of these aren't automated, but they should be fun still. There are going to be some throwbacks to some of the older AI games. I'm pretty ready for them. I think, yeah, I'm pretty ready for them. Well, I'm not actually prepared. I have a lot more work to do. A lot more work. Okay. So what we need to do here. Ew, gross. I think I am upset with myself. All right, so this set. Okay, cool. Excellent. I'm less upset with myself because I remember I refactored this because of everything we were doing. Okay. Less upset with myself. Let's jump into here. And I think this is actually no. We're going to jump in here. I think that all of this I just hard coded as defaults to where the database file should be. I think. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. This is wrong. Bruce. Bruce likes to play games with Twitch chat. Full stop. I think it's here. It is here. It is here. And I literally just like made it the default because I didn't want to pass it as a does this, I don't know if I need Bruce in here or not. I think this will go from where it's running. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now we need to work on the migrations. The migrations are wrong now too. Where do I set the migrations? Oh, yeah. So I don't need Bruce in here because, again, this is from where we're running, which makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. It's just cargo build that's going to be weird. Cargo build's going to be weird. Okay, but we still have the Wordle migration path to figure out. All right, so we're in Bruce and we're tacking this on. Let's go. Do I have? I don't have a migration. Yeah, I don't have that. I'm okay. I'm a little worried again. I'm a little worried that. Oh, it's hard coded. It's hard coded. Who did this? Oh, that's gross. Am I going to fix it? Absolutely not. Not right now. Not right now. Okay, so this looks like a TUI thing. Failed to register message component. Ew, gross. Okay, so this is okay. You know what? We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Everything ran. The database ran. Everything's working. Just the TUI. All right. It is almost effectively 4 hours. I say almost effectively. I'm like 10 minutes off. But I have work to do outside. I have fruit trees to plant. I have. You would not believe this if I told you all. I have fruit trees to plant, but to plant the fruit trees, I have to move a sawmill. Like, how many people on this earth would say those things in dead seriousness? That combination of words. I am going to move a almost 2,000 pound sawmill head first, and then I can move the tracks and the other stuff. But the first thing is moving the 2,000 pound sawmill head because I have a lumber sawmill that I have to move because my wife decided she wants to plant an orchard there. So our fruit trees are going where my sawmill goes, and I gotta find a new place for my sawmill. Which I don't know where that is going to be right now. So it's going to be actually where I would park a truck because that's the only concrete pad I have right now. I need an equipment barn. That's like on my list of things to build. But anyways, I got to go move the sawmill today so that tomorrow I can put up a fence. And that fence is being put up because I have goats, or my daughter has goats, and they will eat the eat the fruit trees. So that's what I gotta go do. Let's find somebody to raid. It's a weird combination of things to say. There is no good luck with goats. Let me assure you, there is no good luck with goats. If you want to look, if you want to do some farming, my recommendation is some chickens. Chickens are kind of dumb. They'll aggravate you, but you'll get eggs out of them. It's a great place to start. Do some chickens. If you want to be just annoyed and have an animal that causes you no end of grief, it's goats and pigs. One, you won't make a fence that keeps them in or out. It just isn't going to happen. Like, so the fences I make to keep goats out. So basically, we do free range goats, and we keep fences that keep the goats out of places they're not supposed to. All right, they are 8 feet tall and they go underground. So you have to dig up and put the fence underground. That's how you keep a goat out of a place. It's taller than I have to make it to keep deer out. And then we had to cut one of the fences because one goat got its head so it was suffocating. It got its head so wound in there's like these holes in the fence, right? And it got its necks wound like through 3 or 4 of them. Just unbelievable pains. If you want to try your hand at raising some animals, avoid goats and pigs. Just avoid both of those. Literally a cow is easier to raise than a goat or a pig. Not that any of you cared. Not that any of you cared, but there we go. We're raiding Theo again. He's on. I see him. Let's raid Theo. Give Theo a high. A high? Yeah, give him a high. Not a, ooh, that sounds really bad. Give him a hello. Go learn something more than you learned here. And thanks everybody for joining. It was super awesome to have you. Huge shout out to Dane for the sub. And I'll see you guys next week.